we're going to start off with Martin Haye, and he's going to give us an update on Lawless Legends. Thanks, Martin.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you about progress we've made on Lawless Legends this year. Spoiler alert, we do not have a version to give you right today. It's a labor of love, and it's going to be great when it's done. And it's going to be done whenever it's done.
In our lifetimes, yes or no?
Say again?
In our lifetimes, yes or no?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. We made huge progress this year. One thing that's happened is our team has gotten larger, and not just larger, but more functional. Like, more stuff is getting done. So Dave Schmink has been kind of suctioned in because we were using Plasma, and now we're using Dave to write Plasma, which is awesome. Brendan has been cranking on the Java side, on the Outlaw editor. I've been, of course, writing lots of code. We have a guy doing play testing for us, which is great, and he's finding lots of problems with the scenario. And then we have, of course, our hugest asset, which is Seth, who runs the project in addition to doing all of the artwork and all of the writing, and he's amazing. And plus, he keeps me on track, which is really good. So we're doing kind of an agile-ish development process. So we use Trello to track the stuff we're working on. It's you make a card and then you can track stuff on that card. It's nice. We use GitHub for our code. You can go download. All of the code is Apache licensed. It's all open source. The only part that's closed is the Lawless Legends scenario itself, but the whole game engine is open. We do accept pull requests, and we got one from Cucumba, who, out of the blue, just saw a bunch of little assembly things to optimize. That was awesome. We synchronize binary files using Dropbox, and we have a really clean. We did a lot of work this year on the build process. So now, with one command, you can build the entire Apple II game engine. With another command, it will build a disk image from the XML file that Outlaw outputs. And very soon, there will be a plugin for Outlaw so that you can, it's not there, so that you can just hit a menu item and it will spit out a disk image and pull it up in JACE so that you can make a change, hit a button, see it in an emulator after about 15 seconds. Some differences between our process and a real agile process is we don't have sprints, and we don't have a sprint manager, and we don't have sprint meetings. It flows when it flows, and if somebody is out for a week because life happened, whatever, who cares? But we have kind of a Google chat conversation that often runs into the pages every day, and we just chat with each other about random shit. And sometimes we do video chats just so that we can see each other's faces, because we live all over. I don't even know where some people live, actually. So, I want to show you some new features this year in Outlaw. This is the full screen editor for graphics, but in addition, you can now, you can draw on it. There's a way to, oh crap, I'm in trouble. Oh, whatever. There's a way to select areas. I know it's here. There it is. So you can select areas, you can copy and paste, you can move things around. So it's a much more functional graphics editor, much easier to use. In addition, you can copy and paste from a browser window. So the dirty little secret of doing much nicer artwork for the Apple II is just find a public domain image and paste it in here and start drawing on it. Then you don't actually have to be an artist to make art. Other stuff, lots of other stuff. So there's new global scripts. For instance, when the game starts, it runs this script. The script tells it what map are we going to start on, where on that map are we going to start. The script can do lots of other things too. We have user-defined data types. We have spreadsheets that you can define all of the game data in. So this is, for instance, the weapons table for Lawless Legends. And so, you know, if you're doing game balance and you're like, the cavalry knife is not powerful enough, you can change it to do 2d6 damage instead of 1d6, if I could type. This will import from Excel or TSV files also. So, before all of our scenario data was spread all over a file system, now it is all in the XML file. It's all right in front of you with a user interface. Scripts themselves have some new stuff. So, you know, in addition, so it's a graphical script editor. You've seen it last year. You may have seen it. But there's all kinds of new stuff you can do. You can give items to the player or take them away. Check if they have the items. You can screw around with their stats. If you decrease their health stat, you will kill them. Which is a good thing in a real game, to be able to kill people. Yeah. There is now combat. You can set encounter zones. So centered around a certain area on the map, you can say all the enemies in my table of code, you know, T3 can appear in that area. And whatever encounter zone is closest, it'll pick that zone. Roll a random chance of your choosing, and boom, you've got an encounter. There are some commonly used things, like a sequence of things you might want to do in a script. So we've defined these predefined blocks. So like, display portrait of so-and-so, print some text, get any key, clear the window. You know, yes or no, do you want to do this thing? If you have this item, you can do it. If you don't, you fail. Stuff like that. So, lots of handy features for building a real game, which we are building. A few other things that you can't see here are all of these block graphical scripts are now translated into Plasma code, which then gets compiled into the game engine. So, it used to be I had to generate code by hand. Now I just generate Plasma, and it spits out 6502. And there's now spell checking, which doesn't fix all grammar problems, but it helps a little bit. So lots of awesome features in the Outlaw editor, and we're all really proud and thankful to Brendan. We have new gameplay features. You're looking at one of them, which is you can save your game. That's something you need, because you will die. So I will create a new game. Wilderness. I guess I'm here in Fresno. No, I'm in the Sierra Nevada, that's right. Let's see. Let's go full screen. Uh-oh. So, like I mentioned, there's combat, and you can battle. Sometimes they get a shot at you first. You can fight them. You can win, or you can die. You can get gold, and you can spend the gold at other places. These are all things that real games have. We've added some real things to the game. So to me, it's feeling much closer to a real game. There's also God mode for testing. This avatar icon you're looking at can be switched out. What else? Oh. You can now look at your inventory. You can equip items. You can use items. You can see what your stats are. You can see what your current damage is, what your skills are, etc. So, lots of great stuff. Dave has been totally working on this part, and I'm really happy because I don't have to do that. A few things in the engine under the covers that you can't see here. One is that we have all of this data now. We have characters. The characters have items. The items have names. They have attributes. When you drop an item, I'd like to reclaim the memory that that item was using. So there's now a garbage collected heap inside, kind of like Java, but way, way, way simpler and therefore fast. So that memory doesn't fill up. Memory gets cleaned out so that we can reuse it for the next item that you get, or the next thing that a monster drops. And I will show this in a bit. This actually runs on multiple floppies now. You have game disk in drive 1 and scenario disk in drive 2, for instance. So that's huge for a real Apple II game again. I'm doing good. So I have a few more things, but let me break for a round of questions first. Anybody have a question?
It looks like that table looks like you might have a party up there.
Which table?
In the lower right, like name,
Yes, so he asked if there's a party, and in Lawless Legends, you will encounter non-player characters who will offer to join your party, and they, have special abilities. They have special weapons. So there's, let's say, Seth and Mokanu, and there's several people that can join your party. Usually you can't control them. They will just fight on their own during battle or whatever, and sometimes they'll say something interesting. Other questions?
Are you thinking of
Auto mapping?
Auto map feature?
Wow, that is a great feature, and it has never crossed my mind. We need an auto map, right?
We rewrite the whole thing.
Okay, note to Seth if you're watching the live stream, auto map.
You intend on changing the battle styles or graphical style or multiple series of
No, there has been a big discussion amongst us about the style of the battle engine. And currently the majority is on the side of this style of battle engine. Some other game that isn't Lawless Legends in the future, we could implement a different battle system, because it's not that big of a change to, it's not a big change to the scenario, it's just a change to the engine. You could run the same scenario with a different battle system. So we'd like to do that in the long run, and some of us would really, really, really like to do that right now. But, yeah. Join the team, swing the vote. Charles.
Last year, there was a session, and I think it kind of flowed into your presentation of Lawless Legends as it currently stood, of detecting whether you're in original hardware at 1 megahertz or perhaps an accelerated version in an emulator. Are you doing anything at this point where you're determining that you're running in an emulator and, say, unlocking certain things that you know you can do accelerated versus?
So the question is, are we unlocking things based on whether you're running on an accelerator or running in an emulator that is accelerated? The answer is we're not yet doing that, but it would be a cool thing to throw in during a KansasFest, for instance. Yeah, totally, and I want to, but currently this does not do that. Other questions? Okay, I want to, and you can have questions later too. I want to talk briefly about the team. So Seth Sternberger, who is a musician, he and his wife Michelle are 8-Bit Weapon. He produced and directed this. He also did the graphics in the scenario. Andrew Schultz and Michelle Sternberger have been doing testing for us, and that's been great. And they've been fixing all kinds of continuity errors, text problems, etc. Andrew Hogan, who is here, wrote the beautiful font engine that you're looking at with all the centering and the underlining and the variable width text, which is awesome. The coding team has been myself, Brendan Robert, and Dave Schmenk, all of which are known for their own interesting projects outside of Lawless Legends. So I think it's a really great team. We are interested in other people joining that team as well. So we are happy to have it be super informal, like send us a pull request, or you can actually join the team and talk about weird stuff at 2 in the morning with us on the Google channel or whatever. Or just a one-time shot like the font engine. He's like, here's a font engine. We're like, thank you. That's wonderful. So, I think that's about all I had to say. There is one more thing. Wanted to show this. Is that screen bright enough to see?
Yeah.
Okay. It runs on a laser 128, by the way. It also runs on a 2C, a GS, a 2E. I think that's the only thing we've tested it on. We had to rename Mythos to be Legendos because Mythos is a trademark name. We are releasing at KansasFest right now a brand new game that is done. It is a real game. You can play it, you can die, you can heal, you can win. It might or might not be fun, but it is a real game. Quinn is in the game.
Quinn the Immortal.
We chose Quinn because it's a name that could work regardless of whether you're a man or a woman. It could work in a fantasy scenario. This is a fantasy scenario called Ancient Legends. Lord British set his fantasy scenario in Britannia. Since we're all Merkins, it's Mercania.
America!
Yeah, I can't say what I was about to say. Oh, we're running on floppies, so it's a little bit slow, but it is actually running on floppies. You can go battle zombies. You can battle unicorns. There's all kinds of stuff that happens. I'm going to flee. Oh, good, that worked. Sometimes when you flee, they get a shot at you, and you might not succeed in fleeing. You might die instead.
Green Dragon has dealt 347 damage.
So you've seen the 3D engine before. There's lots of text in the towns. Read the text because Seth worked hard on it. Andrew worked hard correcting it. There are still probably some problems in there, but you know. Oh, and I did not mention this scenario, the Ancient Legends scenario, is Creative Commons licensed. So you will be able to download it at 9:25 from our GitHub page. You will be able to download Outlaw Editor and edit this scenario and change it. And it's a buy and see license, so as long as you credit us and don't sell your resulting game, you can use this scenario. Or you can make a totally new scenario and whatever, license it however the hell you want. I would suggest starting with ours because there are lots of little tricks that you have to know to get the game to actually compile on the Apple II, and they're not documented right now. So the only source is this. What else did I want to say about Ancient Legends? Yes. So I have 5 copies here. They are numbered, they're limited edition, they're special. There will never be any more of these. The first 5 people to walk up to me and tell me what the giant tree is will get a copy. And it's copy protected. You're welcome. Somebody should release a copy protected game in 2016. That somebody is me.
Mark, is this archived yet?
Is what?
I said, Mark, is it archived yet?
That's all cracked up here.
Okay, and that really is all I have to say today. Any final questions before we wrap it up?
So this obviously uses the Lawless Legends engine.
This uses the Legend Ops engine.
So does that mean that Lawless Legends is feature complete?
No. And so is Lawless Legends feature complete? Lawless Legends is not feature complete. We have a lot of things to add, both in the engine and in the Lawless Legends scenario. But it is much, much, much closer to being a real feature complete game.
Can you tell us what Lawless Legends, the final engine, will do that Ancient Legends does not?
So the final engine, for instance, when you're fighting, the combat engine is really basic and it ignores a fair number of the stats that you have. We want the combat engine to be much more sophisticated. There currently aren't really stores. You can walk into a place and they'll say, do you want to spend 10 gold to be healed? Yes or no. But they can't give you a menu of things to buy. You can't sell things to them. That will be added. There's other stuff that I can't remember right now. Also, the Lawless Legends scenario is much larger. It has more maps, it has more graphics, it has more everythings, and so it's not going to fit over 2 floppies. There will be a version, I imagine it'll be 3 or 4 floppies. Also in addition to an 800K single disc version.
You said we can get this game from GitHub?
You can get this game from GitHub at 9:25. Right, so
9:25 Central Time?
Central Time. Brendan should be pushing it this moment. Other questions? Could somebody closer to me repeat the question?
What's the URL for GitHub?
Oh, thank you. That's an excellent question. GitHub.com/badvision, which is Brendan's handle, /lawless-legends.
Just went up 11 seconds ago.
Oh, something happened. Release of Ancient Legends. It's official. Okay. Ancient Legends, here we go. Let's see what's there. Oh, total epic fail. I bet it is in the code. Alright, well this will be up momentarily.
Yeah, that commit was just the README update.
Okay, it's close to being up. It will be up very soon. Other questions?
Okay, it's up.
Yay?
11 seconds ago.
Now it's there.
Huh?
It's up.
Okay, good. It's up, I hear. So go get it. Go play it. Send us feedback or send us pull requests. And thank you very much for listening.